They called her the thrift store girl like it was her name. Like it was the only thing she would ever be. Maya had heard it so many times that somewhere along the way, she stopped flinching. She just tucked it into the back of her chest, right next to all the other things she had learned to carry quietly, and kept moving. Hey guys, for some reason, I will no longer be uploading videos on this channel. I'll now be posting on Life Choice. The link is in the description below. If you've enjoyed the stories here, you'll definitely love what's coming next. Better visuals, deeper stories. Go check it out and subscribe. That Easter Sunday, she was sitting at the kids' table. The kids' table. She was 27 years old, with a college degree and a savings account she had never once talked about, and her mother had still pointed her toward the small folding table near the hallway without a single apology. Sloan's friends needed the main dining room. Sloan's influencer friends, with their ring lights and their vocal fry and their habit of photographing every plate before they touched it, needed the good chairs, the good light, the good view of the garden through the bay window. Maya got the folding table, a plastic chair with a slight wobble, and a view of the coat closet. She did not say anything. She never did. She sat down, smoothed her blazer, a vintage caramel brown one she had found at a church sale 3 years ago for $5, and it was honestly one of the nicest things she owned. And she watched. Watching was what Maya did best. It was the one skill her family had accidentally given her by making her invisible for so long. The house smelled the way it always did on Easter. Ham glazed with something sweet, dinner rolls browning in the oven, and underneath it all, the faint chemical edge of her mother's hairspray. Her mother had been using the same hairspray since 1998. Some things never changed. Maya remembered the first time someone at school called her the thrift store girl. She was 11. She had come in wearing a denim jacket that had belonged to a cousin, and one of the girls in her class had pointed at the small paint stain near the left cuff and laughed. The name stuck the way cruel things always do. But what hurt more than the name was coming home and realizing her own family thought it was funny too. Her dad had chuckled. Her mother had said, well, there is nothing wrong with being practical. And Sloan, who was 9 at the time, had repeated it at dinner with a grin, and everyone laughed again. That was the day Maya decided something. She did not decide to be angry. She decided to be quiet, to watch, to learn. To build something in the dark, where no one was paying attention, because no one ever pays attention to the girl at the kids' table. The front door swung open, and the whole room shifted. Sloan walked in like a weather system. She was wearing a dress that probably cost more than Maya's monthly grocery budget for the entire year. A deep emerald wrap dress that clung in all the right places and whispered money even if the credit card funding it was screaming. Her hair was blown out perfectly. Her nails were done. There was a fresh manicure, a new bag on her arm, and when she stepped through the door, their mother actually clapped, like Sloan had just landed a plane. There she is, their dad said, beaming from the kitchen doorway. Sloan hugged him, laughed, shook her curls back, and then looked across the room. When her eyes landed on Maya at the small folding table, something flickered across her face. Not guilt, not quite. More like mild surprise that Maya was there at all, the same expression you might give a piece of furniture you had forgotten you owned. Oh, hey, Maya, she said, already turning back to her friends. Hey, Maya said. Nobody clapped. Brunch moved the way it always did. Loud and warm on the surface, with little sharp edges underneath if you knew where to look. Sloan held court at the main table, talking about brand deals that had not paid out yet. A trip to Chalum she was planning on a card that was already nearly maxed, and a new car sitting in the driveway that she had financed on a 5-year plan with an interest rate Maya would never have accepted in her life. Their parents listened with shining eyes, nodding like everything Sloan described was already real, already secured, already done. At the folding table, Maya quietly ate her ham and did a rough calculation in her head. The compound interest on her last acquisition had processed on Friday. She had checked the notification that morning before church, and the number had made her feel the same calm, steady thing it always did. Not excitement. Just the deep, settled feeling of a foundation that would not crack. The kids at her table, her cousin's children, were arguing about which cartoon was better. Maya smiled and cut her food and half-listened, and let the main table noise wash over her the way water moves over stone. Then Sloan's voice cut through everything. Maya, is your camera any good? Mine is acting up and I need something for the table shot. Before Maya could answer, Sloan was already walking over, already reaching down, already picking up Maya's phone from beside her plate with the easy confidence of someone who had never once considered that something might not belong to them. Maya's hand moved, but not fast enough. The screen lit up. The notification was already there. It had been sitting there since that morning, banner still visible because Maya had not cleared it yet. The number sat on the screen in clean, black digits. Balance, 9,204,115. Sloan did not move for a full 3 seconds, then she looked up. The room did not go loud. It went quiet in a way that had weight to it, a silence with teeth. Her mother turned from the oven. Her father set down his fork. Every person at the main table seemed to feel it at once, the way animals feel a shift in the air before something breaks open. Her mother's voice came first, soft and careful and already calculating. "Maya," she said. "Where did that come from?" Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The only sound in the room was the faint hiss of the oven timer counting down in the kitchen, indifferent to everything falling apart around it. Maya looked at her mother's face and recognized the expression immediately. She had seen it her whole life. It was the look her mother wore right before she rearranged a situation to fit a story she had already decided to believe. The eyes went a little soft. The head tilted just slightly. And the voice dropped into that careful, concerned tone that was never actually about concern at all. "We gave you money a long time ago," her mother said, coming around the counter now, wiping her hands on a dish towel like this was a casual conversation. "For safekeeping. You remember that, don't you? When Grandma passed. We trusted you with it because you were always the responsible one." Maya set her fork down. Slowly, the way you set something down when you know that whatever you do next is going to matter. "There was no money from Grandma," Maya said. "Grandma left $4,300. It paid for her burial. There was nothing left." Her father stepped forward and his voice had an edge to it now. "Maya, that is not how I remember it. We entrusted things to you. We kept things in your name because Sloan was young and we thought." "You thought I was boring enough to be safe," Maya said. "That is what you thought." Room cracked open a little bit at that. Sloane's influencer friends had gone very still at the main table. One of them was staring at her water glass like she was praying it would swallow her whole. Maya did not blame her. None of them had signed up for this, but her mother was not stopping. That was the thing about her mother. She did not stop. She pivoted and adjusted and kept going, the way water finds every crack in a foundation until something finally gives. $9 million does not just appear, Maya. That kind of money has a source. That kind of money affects this whole family. We have things going on right now, things you do not even know about, and if there is money sitting somewhere that could help. "It is my money," Maya said. "I earned it, every single dollar." "You are being selfish." That word landed in the room like something thrown. Selfish. Maya had heard it before. She had heard it every time she declined to co-sign a loan. Every time she did not hand over cash before a holiday. Every time she protected the small, careful life she had built while everyone around her spent tomorrow's money today. And then Sloan moved. She had been standing near the main table this whole time, still holding Maya's phone, and something behind her eyes had been shifting and shifting and shifting. The way pressure builds inside something sealed too tight, until it finally went. "You lived like a beggar," Sloan said, and her voice was shaking. "You walked around in your little thrift store clothes and your beat-up shoes, and you let all of us feel sorry for you, and you were sitting on $9 million. You let me struggle. You watched me drown in debt. You watched Mom and Dad stress about this house, about the mortgage, about everything, and you just sat there at your little table and said nothing." Her voice broke on the last word. And for 1 second, just one, Maya felt something. Not guilt, not quite. It was more like the ghost of the person she used to be, the little girl who just wanted her family to be okay, flaring up one last time before finally going quiet. "I did not cause your debt, Sloan," Maya said. "You could have fixed it. It was not mine to fix." Sloan slammed the phone down on the table. "You stole my life. You sat in your corner and you hoarded everything and you let me look like the failure while you hid everything." "I did not steal your life." Maya's voice was steady, completely steady. "I bought it," Sloan blinked. Her mother frowned. Maya reached into the inside pocket of her $5 blazer and pulled out her phone. She opened her email and scrolled to a thread she had been sitting on for 2 weeks, waiting to see if it would ever be necessary to use. She had hoped, honestly, that it would not be. "Home you are all standing in right now has been in foreclosure proceedings since November," Maya said. "You were 4 months behind on the mortgage. The bank filed in December." She looked at her parents. "I know that because the LLC that holds the note on this property is mine. I have been your landlord for 3 years. Silence that came after that was unlike any silence Maya had ever heard in this house. It was not the silence of an argument pausing. It was not the silence of someone gathering breath before the next round. It was the silence of a room full of people suddenly understanding that the ground they were standing on belonged to someone they had been calling the thrift store girl since she was 11 years old. Her mother's hand went to her mouth. Her father sat down. Sloan did not move. She stood in her expensive emerald dress, mascara threatening the corners of her eyes, and she looked at Maya the way you look at something you thought you understood and suddenly realize you never saw at all. The foreclosure notice was going to post next week, Maya continued. I have been holding it. I did not want your home taken from you, but I also need you to understand something clearly. This money is mine. This house, technically, is mine, and the decision about what happens next belongs entirely to me. Nobody said anything. Maya picked up her phone. She straightened her blazer. She looked around the room one last time, at the Easter decorations her mother had put up, at the good china on the main table she was never invited to sit at the ham going cold, at the small folding table in the hallway where she had eaten her meal like an afterthought for as long as she could remember. She had spent so many years trying to fix the way they saw her. Trying to be useful enough, quiet enough, low maintenance enough that they would eventually look up and see her, really see her, and feel something that resembled love without conditions. She understood now, standing in the quiet, that it was never going to happen that way. Some people only look up when the ground shifts beneath them. Some people only see you when you become impossible to ignore. She was done waiting to be seen. She left the Easter eggs on the folding table. She walked past the main dining room, past the good chairs and the good light and the bay window view of the garden she was never offered. She opened the front door and stepped out into the clean April air and did not look back. She did not slam the door. She just pulled it shut behind her. Quiet and final, the way a chapter closes. The way a woman walks out of the story that was written for her and into the one she wrote for herself. The thrift store girl was gone. She had been gone for a long time. And the woman who drove away that Easter afternoon in her sensible car, with her $5 blazer and her 9-figure truth, was someone none of them had ever taken the time to know. That was their loss. Maya had decided to stop making it hers.